Hey there everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Thomas and Friends Home Media Reviews. Now before we get started, I just want to say that I've gotten some comments recently saying of how I've been doing these in the wrong chronological order, and yeah, that kind of thing. First of all, go back and watch episode, I believe it was 15 of this series. That one dealt with Thomas Comes to Breakfast, and there was a disclaimer at the start of that says, hey, I already had most of this stuff recorded and ready for upload by the time that I figured out that I was doing these in the wrong order. So yeah, I just wanted to say that and say that, hey, the reason I'm doing it in this order is because, well, the way I have these things set up in my cabinet, it goes Rusty to the rescue, and then after that, you see Thomas Comes to Breakfast, Get Along. I don't have a VHS copy of A Big Day for Thomas. I guess that spoils the close-up. And then after that, you get into like Thomas and the Special Letter and those releases. So that's part of the reason I'm doing it in this order, is because it's how I had them set up. I wasn't aware at the time that, hey, this is the wrong chronological order. So I apologize for that. I'll try to stick to the chronological order of things in future episodes. Yeah, with that out of the way, pretty much spoiled what we were going to look into here today. So this episode is on A Big Day for Thomas, and like I said, I don't have a VHS copy of this to show you, and that's kind of a spoiler for the close-up, but you know, if you saw my collection video, you may have noticed, hey, there's no VHS copy of A Big Day for Thomas, so not really a spoiler. So anyway, well, let's get into the history of A Big Day for Thomas before I ramble on longer. So A Big Day for Thomas was originally released back in 1998, and then it was released again in 2003, and then was released onto DVD in 2007, was re-released again in 2009. It was found in some 2-packs, most notably in a pack with Trust Thomas, and then was released for digital download in 2013. So yeah, A Big Day for Thomas had a really short lifespan on VHS, but a really moderate one on DVD, which is shocking. Usually you see the Thomas releases lasting a long time on VHS and shortly on DVD. But A Big Day for Thomas kind of breaks that format, I suppose. It's kind of like the Daniel Craig James Bond films. They kind of break the James Bond formula. Let's go ahead and move on to the close-up of my copies of A Big Day for Thomas. Alright everyone, here's your close-up look at A Big Day for Thomas. Now, as you can probably already tell, I don't own a VHS copy of A Big Day for Thomas because the 1998 version is extremely hard to come by for a decent price, and the 2003 version, it's really hard to find because not a lot of people bought it, and so there's less of them out on the secondary market. So I only have DVDs to show off this time around. So yeah, A Big Day for Thomas was released in 2007, as we said in the history section. I believe this is maybe a 2007-2008 copy. So yeah, it uses the 2003 VHS cover. You can see there's a good picture of Thomas and Toby up there. Nice photo from Percy Runs Away. I really like the style that they use for these later releases, where it has, you know, like the Thomas and Friends logo, the title, 1 or 2 engines, and then a shot from the episode at the bottom. Although that wasn't the case with Thomas Comes to Breakfast, and with Thomas's Friends Get Along for that matter. But you can go back and rewatch those episodes if you really want to know my feelings on that. Cartoon Thomas, I'm glad that they actually kept this. The DVD logo, which is cool that they put that in there because this was a growing format at the time. Big Day for Thomas. The Anchor Bay logo, it's no longer the Brit logo because Brit Allcroft is sans, she's gone now. They make this little thing, making tracks to great destinations. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that saying at all. Your blurb about what's on the disc and such. Your bonus features now are listed before the story stops. As you can see, there's a screenshot from Train Stops Play and from Toby. Now mine happens to have a little insert in there. Basically just details about, the main menu, the pick a story, the Sodor spelling game, the sing-along station, and the character gallery. And on the back you got advertisements for other releases. And the disc, pretty much just a squished up version of the cover art. But it's a nice disc. So that's a big day for Thomas. And we have one more copy to look at here, but it's pretty much the same as the version I just showed you, except for one extremely big difference. And when I say big, I mean big. You could also find this in a Wooden Train bonus pack, and I won't spoil the item that came with this, because that will be uploaded in a later review, and if it's already up by now, then you already know what the item is. You can see it's fatter. It's about the size of a VHS tape, maybe a little larger. There's a Cartoon Thomas, the DVD logo, basically the same thing along the spine here. The same back, except for the fact that the pictures are now on the side. That's up there. Bonus features and such, and now you've got this little advertisement. Wooden Train pack includes Thomas and Friends Wooden Railway Engine. And you open it up from the top here, and down there is where you would get your engine, and right here is where the disc or the case would be for the disc. And here's the actual case. You can see exactly the same as this. The spine is extremely slim. As you can see, here's the differences between the two. Open it up. It's also got the same insert as last time. And the disc is also exactly the same. It's all just been stuffed into a slim case here. So those are my two copies of A Big Day for Thomas, pretty much exactly the same, but hey, I basically bought this just to have, the slim cased version, I suppose, and because the Wooden Railway item that came with it I really wanted and was extremely cheap. So let's go ahead and move on and answer the 5 main questions as always. Alright, so we're back from close-up and now it's time to answer the 5 main questions as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? For the VHS, obviously eBay, Hobby Store, Goodwill, places like that. But for the 2009 version of the DVD, I've seen that version in the pack with Trust Thomas. I've seen that version at multiple Targets, actually, so I'm pretty sure you can find that version at a local Target or Walmart near you. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? As far as I know, not in physical form. It might have gotten a release by Universal, but I've never seen it in person. Number 3, should you pick this product up? I give this product a pretty solid recommend, I guess. Just a nice old recommend. It's a nice release. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? Once again, eBay, Goodwill, FYE, I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. And yeah, your local Target or Walmart for the 2009 version. And finally, what price should you pay? For the VHS version, I would say you shouldn't overpay. For the 2003 version, you shouldn't pay over maybe $5 for that, but the 1998 version is really rare. That's why I don't have a copy of it. So I would definitely move up a bit in that range. I would say it's probably worth about $15 to $20 because of how uncommon it is. And for all the DVDs, I'd stay in the $5 to $10 range for those. All right, so that was my review for A Big Day for Thomas. And our next episode, we jump back in the timeline for all of you freaks out there, and we take a look at Thomas and the Special Letter, one of actually probably one of my favorite releases. Really, it's got some great stories on there. So yeah, that's our next episode. So I will see you all then, and as always, good night, everybody.